Well, let me ask you a question, because when it comes to the food chain, you're farther up and ahead than I am. And I've been having this debate with internally for the last 6 months with a team that I've been working with, right? But as an executive, what is the responsibility of the executive to provide the guidance of what metrics they want to see versus the team coming up with the metric? Like who should come up with what are we going to measure? Is it somebody up high who's reviewing these metrics, or is it the team down low that's kind of masters of their own destiny at that point?
I think it's a combination, but I think the heavier lifting needs to come from down below, and the executive has the final decision on which ones is going to accept or not.
But isn't that cheating then? Because you're masters of your own destiny.
But you should be masters of your own destiny. Um,
I just feel like that's cheating though. Like you wouldn't take a test and like pick the questions that you want to be on the test.
no, but the so if we use that analogy, you don't the people coming up with the questions are not the executives. You have a team of people that should be well versed in whatever the subject is you're coming up with a test for, coming up with all the questions. So to map this to our friends at Atlassian, when they're coming up with test questions, they're reaching out to subject matter experts to come up with those questions. Now, ultimately, those people would probably be ones taking the exam at some point. And yeah, that's where that knowledge should come from. Now, Atlassian, as the executives, have the final decision on what questions make it into the exam, and probably how they, um, uh, you know, reword the questions, how they, what guidelines they put, what guardrails they put in place, and going back to the metrics, that's what the executive team should be doing, is they get all the information on what can be measured from the SMEs or the technical team, and then they put the guardrails around that, and they pick and choose which ones they want. They may throw out a number of them wholesale and then say, hey, but these rise up to what we need to be measuring. Um, and the executives aren't working in a vacuum. They're probably pulling in the financial analysts and the overall requirement management people that have bid out the contract or whatever we're building, if we're
Yeah,
building it for end customer,
yeah.
versus just building something that we hope customers will buy.
And I think as we start to wrap up this episode, the last kind of topic or thing that I'll leave you with is whatever you do decide and however you decide to do your metrics, you want to be cautious because your metrics, whether you see it or not, have a direct correlation to your attrition. Right? If your developers feel micromanaged, if your developers feel like the bar's too high, the bar's too low, maybe they're not being challenged enough, maybe they're being challenged very unfairly or poorly,
Mhm.
they're gonna do something, right? They're gonna either leave or do something.
Going back to the lines of code, they're being measured against something that's stupid, um,
Or make
and
it make sense.
yeah, make it make sense. Um, ooh, excuse me. But yeah, there was one other thing I was going to say. Now I forgot it. But oh, yeah, with metrics, it's very important that once you establish the metrics, you keep them consistent. So if you're going to, let's say, adopt DORA metrics on a embedded system, so something that's not SaaS model, you can do it very successfully, but you have to determine what the true endpoints are on what you're measuring. So if I'm doing mean time to repair is very easy to define on a embedded type system. So you're going to go back to your hard drive example. That's very much an easy place to define how long it takes to repair the end system. But deploying is difficult to define. But once you do define it, whether it's as soon as you get to a test system, that's considered your endpoint for I did a deployment. Um, Keep it there.
Yeah.
don't move it around, because what will eventually happen is someone will want to compare this quarter's metrics against last quarter's metrics. And if you adjusted it for reasons, then you just broke the metrics over
Yeah.
time.
And trends, yeah, trends is definitely a popular measurement.
Oh, that's 100% what they always want to look at is the trends. Are we doing better this quarter than last quarter,
Or
or this
yesterday than
release
today.
yesterday and today? This release versus the last release.
Yep.
And they want to know that. So,
And so yeah, well, folks, that's our 2 cents on DORA metrics in general. And let us know in the comment section, what kind of metrics do you have in your team? Are you using DORA? Are you using something else? And if you're an individual contributor watching this and you're frustrated, like you might have heard from our voices today, let us know down below as well. We'd love to hear those horror stories. Maybe we can do a deeper dive, or take a look at some reactions for other comments or
well,
metrics
we,
that other
we
people have.